Well, thanks for joining us today, Femke. It's been nearly a year since you've been able to, compete in a college tennis match. What's been the most difficult thing that you've had to go through with this sport over this time?
That's a hard one. I think it's like so early just like not being able to compete and like put on the Bronco uniform for so long. And like especially just how gut wrenching it was just to have like our season just cut in half all of a sudden. And so I think we're just all very grateful to have the opportunity to just like compete now and just like we're not really even like focusing on the negative parts of it. We're just trying to look at all the positives.
Looking at the Western Michigan women's tennis social media, you guys are really big on, team activities and everything like that. And Coach Tomlinson mentioned to me that for him was one of the hardest things about this last almost year is that you really haven't been able, to do a lot of those. How
Mhm.
important are those kind of team get-togethers and what does it mean for the team and how anxious are you to be able to kind of rejoin all that stuff?
Yeah, I think it's really big because it's a big part of team bonding and not being able to be as close as we usually are because usually we would spend every single moment with each other. And now it's just like we kind of have to keep our distance, stay in our bubbles, and it's kind of hard because we want to be with each other and we want to hang out. But it's really just a smart option if we really want to just be able to compete in the end. But I think really made strides in getting to know each other in the most safe way possible, and just really bonding in different ways that we couldn't before.
Obviously, we're doing this via Zoom. How sick are you of Zoom at this point?
Um, you know, uh, it's okay. I wouldn't prefer it. I do like face-to-face meetings. I think it's just like now it's more flexible. So especially with team meetings, we meet like sometimes like 8 p.m. at night, and at that point I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to meet anymore. like, and but I think it's fine. I just prefer face-to-face now, I guess.
Uh, are there a lot of nerves for this weekend? I mean, or maybe just some nervous energy since it's been so long, and how do you kind of combat that where you don't get a little too excited to compete?
Yeah, there's a lot of nerves going in this weekend because there's a lot of expectations from the upperclassmen because we know at this point what we're going into, and then the freshmen really have no idea what they're heading into. And so we're trying to break it down for them a lot and like kind of give them some sort of idea on what to expect. But in like reality, we can't show them and like putting it in words it's not enough. Like they're just going to have to be able to experience it, and then for us like being able to go back on court after basically a year, it's like insane. So I think we're just like super like excited energy as you said, and I don't even know how we'll combat it. I think it's just us going into just going in and just try and handle it as we can and roll with the punch.
We've already seen it happen once with your meet last week that got postponed with Northern Iowa. Mentally, how do you deal with the fact that you know in no fault of your own could your season suddenly be disrupted and you have a match canceled or it gets moved to a different time?
Yeah, we're just really rolling with the punches. We have learned to expect the unexpected at this point. We take everything day by day, week by week. And so when Ryan told us last week, like, we're not going to be able to compete this weekend, we're like, okay, sucks, but you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. It's out of our control. So we just sit down, we get our heads wrapped around it, and then we go out and compete against each other, practice for the weekend, and make sure we're ready for our next match.
Now, obviously, because of the state regulations at this time, you can't have fans cheering for you at West Hills or family there as well. Um, how important is it to rally around each other and kind of bring your own energy to cheer each other on?
With or without fans, just being there for each other is super important. And like freshman year, sophomore year, we've got like all of us upperclassmen know what we're doing. We know how to be there for each other. We know when to cheer loud and just always being loud. And so with having such a big team like this, I think it's not really going to matter whether or not we have fans or not, because we will create the energy that we need.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.